Howdy y'all, it's Kathy from RustPaperScissors, and I wanted to do a quick video tutorial about metal rim tags, and I have some here on my desk. I know that looks like a hot mess, but this was the journal that kind of was getting me back into thinking about metal rim tags. I thought it looked like a Parisian themed journal. So I found this digital image, and I want to put some lace and but put that on the front, maybe a brooch on the front. But this made me think about the metal rim tags. And in my shop, I have something called faux French numbers and words. And so I was thinking I might could use those, or I just use a lot of metal rim tags in my work. And so I have sometimes not a love-hate relationship with metal rim tags, but the one thing that I don't like about the metal rim tags are the shiny metal edge. And I've worked for years trying to think of ways to get rid of that, maybe alcohol inks. Everything was too tedious, just very hard. So I used them some, but not a great deal. And I just wanted to show you some variety of ways that I use them. This is just I believe it's a Tim Holtz picture that I added to a tag. There's just several pictures. Here's a little picture of a little girl that I embossed with clear embossing powder. Then these is just an example of stamping on the, this was a tea-dyed tag. This is another stamping, and this one you could write on if you wanted in your journal. I pulled this one out because I was thinking of the Paris theme, and for some reason that just spoke to me about Paris. And then these are just using maybe some specialty paper. This was just one that I embellished with some book page stamping and different elements. And then this was just another one. So that's just some ideas. But like I say, I was always plagued with the shiny rim. And so this is the tags. In my shop, I sell the tea-dyed tags and I sell the old book page tags. I have 5 different sizes. I have an inch, inch and a quarter, inch and a half, 2 inch, and 2 1/4. Some of those are pretty standard. I think the inch is a little uncommon. The inch and a half, 2 inch might be uncommon. So I just wanted to mention that I have those in my shop. I just sell the tea-dyed and the book page. So I just wanted to mention that. I'm going to stop it for just a second and get set up for the next what I wanted to talk about. Okay, I zoomed in a little bit so maybe you could get a closer look, and I'll try and hold them up. These are some examples of some tags that I had. I had watched a Tim Holtz video about frosted crystals and collage mediums and that type of thing, and I thought, oh, maybe this is the way to get this metal rim to dull down. Well, I first tried the frosted crystals, and I must be frosted crystal challenged. I could not get it to work. I believe I embossed it too much, and it's still shiny. And I tried this with several different attempts, and it didn't work. So for me, the frosted crystals didn't work, but the person who knows how to use them, it might work for you. So that was my experience. This was just a white 2 1/4 inch tag that I'd had a book page added to. And I decided to try and use the the glaze, the distressed glaze, and see if that would dull it down. On this one, I didn't do very well. The edge of it flaked off in a lot of places, and I didn't get a good adhesion of the glaze, so I didn't like it. It didn't work. I finally just scraped the rest of the glaze off the edge. It does, so for me it didn't work. And it's shiny, but that's okay, This one is an example of an tea-dyed tag with old book page and permanent ink. And I added some speckled egg, I think it's speckled egg embossing powder. And this one did very well. I thought what I do is I take my tag, I make this little tool, and it's just a popsicle stick or a tongue depressor. I add some painter's tape, and then I just stick my tag on there, and I take Versamark. Let me see if I can get more room. I take the Versamark and I smush it down in there. The reason I use the Versamark is with the dauber, the distress ink with the dauber, I couldn't get right up to the edge, and so I liked using the Versamark better. So that's just my preference. You could get this to work. So what I did was and then I sprinkled the speckled egg on there and embossed it, and I think that looks pretty good. It does dull down the edge some. It's still pretty shiny, but that's okay. Then the next one I did was a white tag, and I did, again, the salvage patina on this one. It was just a stamped image, and I embossed it and did the salvage patina. I just wanted you to see an example of a different color. And so but it's still pretty shiny, but it worked well. Then my favorite one that I had in my stash was using a tea-dyed tag, and I used the antique linen embossing powder. And I'll try and hold it up where you can see it. There we go. I don't know if you can see. It just enhances the tea stain where, it's very mild. The coloring is very mild, although it does change the rim of the tag. If you can see that, the rim does look distressed. So I liked this the best, the antique linen. Okay, and then this is another example of the antique linen. Just, again, I'm trying to show you that it does dull down the edge, and that's what it looks like. So I like the antique linen a lot. And then this was an example of vintage photo, and it was just too dark. Although it did change the rim, but I just didn't like it. It was too dark, kind of splotchy. On this one, I did add a little bit of collage medium. So that's another reason maybe the metal rim looks distressed or less shiny, because I did put collage medium. And what I do is, and I'll do an example of this, I just put it on here. This is a blank tag. It doesn't have the glaze on it, but it'll work the same. So this is just a tea stain tag, and I had stamped on it. I'm going to add a dot of the collage matte medium, and I mean just a dot. It does not take anything for these. See how little I put on there? I don't even know if you can see it. And then I just take my finger and I rub it around and try to get all the edges, get everything covered, and look at it and make sure that it's covered. And then I put it aside. So we'll look at that later. And so let's see. So that was doing the collage medium on this tag. So this was a white tag, salvage patina, and the collage medium. So this is an example of the white tag where I colored it with the salvage patina distress embossing glaze, and then I went over that with some collage medium, and I feel like it dulled it down pretty well. So that was that one. And then this is an example of just speckled egg. It doesn't have any of the collage medium on it. So you can see how much more shiny it is than this one. I don't know if you can tell the difference. They both look a little shiny, but this one is quite a bit more shiny. So that's that. And so I was pleased with that. I wanted to mention, if you just have plain white tags, what I had done is I had stamped on these tags, and this one I had stamped remember, and this one I just stamped a little heart, and they're plain on the back. What I did was on this one, I took the collage medium vintage and just ran it over there, and it makes it look distressed. It looks tea-dyed, but that's all that is the collage medium that I put on with my finger, and I think it did pretty well. And then this is the same thing. It's just a little collage medium that I put on the antique or the vintage collage medium, and it makes it look tea-dyed. So that's something you can do if you just have the plain tags. Something else that I have done, this is a little, like from a digital kit, you get those small tiny ephemera. So I just attached one to a metal rim tag, and I put some clear embossing powder on it. These are two small ones that I did the same thing, and I'm excited about putting those in my journal. I think those will look nice in a Paris themed journal. So again, this is an example of just a tea stained tag where it had a book page and I had stamped on it, and then I added collage medium, and it kind of dulls it down. So that's just another example of just the collage medium on a tag. And that's that. But thinking about the embossed ones, in my shop I sell what I call the faux French numbers and words, and then also the little I believe they're called faux typewriter keys. And these are tags that I sell the tea-dyed ones, and I sell plain ones. And I'm just trying to mimic the look of a faux French number. I added the two brads. A lot of times you see them, attached that way. So it's just, it's just a faux. But thinking of my Paris journal, I was thinking I might use these in my journals. So what I do is I take the tag, I stamp the number on there, and then again, I put it on my tool, and I will put it in the Versamark ink. I'll put clear embossing powder on it and do that about 3 times, the clear and powder over when it's warm, and it just melts it, no problem. So, and then this is just a little, I think that looks like a typewriter key when we used to have typewriter typing class in school. So I have those. So that's just another example of things that you can do with the tags. Now, talking about the tags. This is a tag that I made a while back, and it's just a tea stain tag. I put old book page on there, and I stamped the little Tim Holtz figure, and I loved that. I thought it was great, but again, you know, the metal is shiny. So I thought, Dawn finally broke over Marblehead, and I realized, why don't I stamp on the back side, which is the smaller rimmed side, and you see less of that metal rim that I don't like. So I thought, oh, let's do that. Well, the problem with stamping on the wrong side is these tags are just a little bit concave. And so when you stamp, no matter how hard I pressed down, I couldn't get a good stamp in the middle. I did several attempts and couldn't get it. Then I came up with the idea, well, why don't I put a shim, which is just this little tag that's gonna, oops, I got the wrong one. This is just a little shim that I made. It's like 4 pieces of cardstock that I glued together, and this was the one that fits in this tag. And so it just gives you enough pressure that when you stamp, you get a great image. So I thought, I'm going to start including these in my shop when I sell the tea stained tags, because if you stamp with them, you really need the little shim. And when you're stamping on the book page, usually you're on this side and you don't need a shim. So that's just what I found. And this was just another example of the tea stained tag that I stamped to Paris, the Eiffel Tower, and I just loved that. I thought it turned out great. I used my shim and it worked well. So I have those available they'll be available in my shop. And then I wanted to talk about, when you stamp, you need to make sure that you are stamping your image in the right place. This one drives me crazy. I've had this stamp for years. It's one that I stamped and I put clear embossing powder over it, but the hole's in the wrong place. No matter if you put your brad in there, it looks wrong to me. Maybe I'm too anal, but that bothers me. So just if you're doing a stamp, make sure you get your hole in the right space. In fact, I was going to demonstrate just a little example of that. I have a tea-dyed stamp. I'm going to put my little shim in the back, so see it fits in there. I'm going to take this as a little, I'm not sure, I think it was Memory Keepers or We Are Memory Keepers. Well, I got that off. Let's see if I can get it back in there. Okay. And then I want to make sure my hole is, and you may see my head because I'm going to get in. I'm going to take my stamp. I'm going to stop for just a second and go get, I don't have a wet wipe. Okay, I'm back. So I have this stamp and I have it positioned where I think it's going to work. I may have to move this. I hope I can get around. But what I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what I try to do is find the middle of the tag with the hole. but this one is just about the size of the stamp. The stamp is just about the size of the tag. So I'm just going to get over it and stamp. And I may have moved it a little bit, I'm not sure. Yeah, okay, I didn't get it exactly in the right spot, but at least it's stamped in the middle. So I just should have moved over. It was probably because I have my arm around this tripod. So that's that. And then let's see. I wanted to demonstrate this. And in some of my Christmas journals, oh, I'm not in camera, there we are. In some of my Christmas journals, I've been adding this little charting his course, and I usually put a map page in my journal, and at Christmas time I thought, oh, that's cute, you could chart, say your house was here in the North Pole, whatever, but I just thought it was cute. What I did was I took my label maker and I made a label. This one says memories. And again, it's shiny. So when I put it down, I didn't always like that. So sometimes normally I would use a piece of felt, but I'm just going to use this Q-tip. And I'm just going to put a little alcohol ink on there. And I'm going to get a little piece of paper here. And I just hold it. And you just rub that alcohol ink on there and it kind of, ages it. So there, now you have an aged label. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to trim one side and I'm gonna trim the M side. So I'm gonna trim pretty close. Okay. And then I'm going to try and find the center. This one has 8 letters, so it's going to be harder to get the center, but the O should be about the center. And I'm going to put it on there. Hold on just a second. For me, it's easier to get this label off if I kind of manipulate it a little bit. And then what I do is I line it up, I get as close as I need to, and then I have this extra over there, and that's not exactly even, but it's okay. So what I do is I take my fingernail and I push it into the edge there of the metal rim tag, and then I take my little finger cutter, I guess it's a utility knife, and I'm angling it towards that metal rim tag, and I just cut it. And then you have a perfectly cut edge. And on this side, I could even do this side if I wanted to, since I didn't get that exactly perfect. But you cut into kind of the metal rim tag, and it doesn't cut the paper. So there, now you have a tag with a label, but it's shiny. So what I did on this was one that I had. This one I had not inked the label. So it was a clear label and it was pretty shiny. So what I did was I added collage medium, and let's do that real quick, and we'll look at it at the end again. Again, I put it on my tool. That's just so you can get the collage medium everywhere. Oops, my sticky may be off on my tag. You just need a dot, I'm telling you. You just need a little bit. And then you just put it around, get it on the edges, get it on the rim, get it everywhere. And I don't know if you can see in the light, my light's not super good. So I think I got it everywhere. Then I'll just set that off to the side and we'll look at that at the end. Okay, so that's an example of it's something you could do. Let's see. Let me clear this off. Going back to my little Paris journal, I wanted to perhaps do a belly band, and so I have this ribbon, and so I thought, well, what if I made a slot type punch in my tags, and then it could be a belly band. This could slide up and down if you wanted, and I thought it would fit nicely right there in my journal. And so I would probably maybe put collage medium on there to dull it down just a little bit. I didn't do that for the purpose of this video. I just, this is just an example of something I might do. So I wanted to give you that idea. This, I know several of you have these type little slot punches, and it's very easy. What you do is you take your tag and you kind of find your hole. See if I can do it on camera. Kind of find your hole and get it in the center, and then you press it and it comes out, and then that one's pretty good. Then if you want another one on the bottom, you just try and line it up and get it down close to the rim, and there you go. Oops, so that one didn't cut out. Oh, that one didn't cut out. There we go. So now you have two slots. You could do it this way or this way. But that's another thing you can do with your tag, is if you have a slot punch, you can change the hole. I think that covers everything. If y'all had any questions or comments, I would love to hear from you. It helps me understand maybe what I'm doing, if I need to do something different or better. The tags are fun. I really enjoyed it. I've kind of been excited that I was able to find a way to maybe just flip the tag over or use the collage medium or distress glaze to dull it down a little bit. So that was my example. That was my goal for today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I'll talk to you later.